Hey everyone, welcome back to Ragtag Stacking. In today's video, I want to talk a little bit about the gold-silver ratio. Now, I have talked about this before and my plans for using the gold-silver ratio to make a trade. And the number that I've been waiting for, because I'm looking to trade some silver for gold, the number I've been waiting for is 60 to 1. And I do say gold-silver ratio trade, even though it really isn't a trade. You can't really walk into the local coin shop and just, swap your 60 ounces of silver, and then Buddy will just give you 1 ounce of gold, and you can walk out the door. It's actually two separate transactions that happen. You have to sell your silver, and then you have to buy the gold. The guy's running a business. He's got inventory. He's got numbers that he has to keep up with. He can't just, take in silver and gold and just have it as a straight swap. So when you think of it in those terms where you're selling and then buying, the 60 to 1, even though it was the threshold I was waiting for it to get to, kind of goes out the window because that's just based on spot price. And, when you're selling and buying the stuff, the physical stuff, obviously, that premiums are attached to it. So if you're walking in and you're selling 60 ounces of generic silver, the amount that you're going to get back is going to be different than walking in with 60 ounces of American Silver Eagles. It's not as drastic with the gold purchases as far as the premiums go, but there's a bit of a premium difference if you're going to be picking up a 1 ounce American Gold Eagle or a 1 ounce Maple Leaf compared to a 1 ounce Valcambi bar. The bars will be slightly cheaper, the premium will be slightly less, but you will be seeing a little bit more. But you will be seeing a little bit more of a wider gap when you're, looking to sell the silver. Depending on what silver you're looking to get, you could get quite a bit more or quite a bit less. So like I said, even though the ratio is at 60 to 1, if you're going in with the 60 American Eagles and looking to walk away with a gold bar, then the actual ratio when it all comes down to it could be quite a bit lower than 60 to 1. And like I said, I have made videos before talking about the gold silver ratio. The last one, I believe it was when the ratio was at 77 to 1. I made that because it was kicking around the 80s for a bit. I believe it was at 82, and then a couple of days went by, a week or so, and then it was slowly starting to go down. It was down to the 77, so I started talking about it and saying that I was hoping it would continue to go down so I could make that trade. But unfortunately, since then, it has not. It has not continued that downward trend. As a matter of fact, today, at the time of this recording, it is at 87 to 1, or 86.8 something, so I just rounded up to 87. So unfortunately, that means I'm still going to be waiting to make that trade, that silver for gold trade. And I'm in no rush. I'm not fighting the clock. There's not some timetable or anything that I need to get this done right away. It's just, once it gets to that point, I'm looking forward to doing the trade. But, I can wait. But there are some people that are looking to make the trade the other way. They're looking to trade some gold for silver. Now, I'm not looking to do that. I have seen some people in the comments of previous videos saying that they do trade both ways. And like I said, I'm not looking to do it, but that doesn't mean I never considered doing it. The first time I thought about it was, right around the time where I first started stacking. That was back in the spring of 2020. So we all know what was going on then, the crazy time back in March. But a couple of weeks and months down the road in April and May, something happened with the gold-silver ratio. It spiked way up. It shot way up to right around 125 to 1, I believe it was. And then, a couple of weeks, month or two later, it dropped right back down to the 80s. So in my head, just getting into it, I thought, if it's going to fluctuate like that a lot, if every couple of months it's going to go up or go down 40, 50, 60 points on the ratio, then maybe it would make sense to trade some gold for silver. Just as an example, I'm going to use 50 to 1 and 100 to 1 just because they're easy to work with. In my mind, I was thinking if the fluctuation happened, that often and that much, I was thinking if it was at 50 to 1, I would take my 50 ounces of silver and sell it for 1 ounce of gold. And then wait a couple of weeks, a month or two, and wait for it to go up to 100 to 1, and then I would go ahead and sell that 1 ounce of gold for 100 ounces of silver. And then again, wait a couple of weeks, month or two, for it to get down to 50 to 1 again, And then the 1 ounce of gold that I sold for 100 ounces of silver, I could take that 100 ounces of silver and sell it for 2 ounces of gold, and on like that. And obviously I figured out, the ratio doesn't move like that. It's not quite that volatile. But for me, that was the gap that I needed to consider going back and forth with silver and gold like that. For some people, that gap is a lot smaller. They do consider, if it gets up to the 80, they might sell some silver for gold. Then if it drops down to the 50 to 1, then they would trade it again. I kind of needed that spread to be a little bit more to consider selling some gold for silver. But for a lot of people, the gap that they're comfortable with is a lot closer together. Now, I don't have any paper silver or paper gold, but if I did, that gap would be, probably 20 points, because it's a lot easier to be selling and buying, the made up paper stuff than it is to be continuing to do it with the gold and silver. So you could, look at a lot smaller movements in the paper side and make a profit off of it. Not into the paper stuff. I would need a pretty big swing in the gold silver ratio for me to consider trading gold for silver, and it would need to be consistent, and that's just not a reality. So right now I can comfortably say I don't think I will ever sell gold for silver, and if I do sell gold for silver, then that means we're in some crazy times where the ratio would be fluctuating like that back and forth. And also, a lot of people use it to determine what they're going to be buying more of. You know what I mean? If it's at the 60 to 1 or lower, then they're primarily going to be focusing on gold. If it's in between that 60 to 80, a lot of them say they pick up both. And then if it scoots up over the 80 to 1, then that's when they will be loading up more on silver than gold. For me, I'm constantly just buying both of them all the time. I'm not really using the gold-silver ratio to determine which metals I pick up, but there are some people that use the GSR for that as well. But yeah, that's just a little video I wanted to make here, again talking about the GSR. It is something that I am quite interested in, and unfortunately I'm not holding my breath waiting for the 60 to 1 to come around, and I'm thinking I might have to change that goal. Maybe I'll change it to 65, maybe even bump it up to 70, but as of right now it's at 60, and I'm hoping maybe within a year, hopefully it'll the gap will shrink that little bit down to that 60. But if it doesn't, then I might have to make a little bit of a change to it, because if I go on 3 years without it reaching the goal and it doesn't look like it's going to get there, maybe it's time to move the goalpost up a little bit, so I'll be able to make that trade, but who knows. And I would like to hear what you guys think, especially if you are interested in swapping some gold for silver. Me, as I said, I'm not interested right now. Like I said, a lot needs to happen for me to consider that. So I'm not, realistically looking at doing that. But I would like to hear from you guys if you have traded some gold for silver, or if you ever think about trading, or if you think you ever will trade gold for silver. Anyways, that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you come back for the next one. Thank you.